All right, so this is our 2x6 and it is 2 feet long. So you should grab this, and the first tool we're going to be using is the table saw. So the table saw is used to make rip cuts, and in this class is what we will be using it for. And a rip cut is going to be longwise. Okay, so we're not going to be using it to make what are called cross cuts, which are cuts like across the short grain, across the grain of the wood. We're going to be going with the grain of the wood. That's a rip cut. We'll use other tools for cross cuts later. So the rule with this tool is that we want the piece of wood that we're feeding into it to be larger than this red area. So if you come up and you have a shorter piece of wood in the future, let's say the piece of wood's only a few inches long, and it's shorter than this red area, we're gonna use a different tool to cut it, okay? But for this case, this is longer than the red area, so it's good to cut. We're gonna set our blade to the right height. It's the first way I like to start. So I'm gonna set my wood next to it. I can see I have like one tooth of the blade extended past the top of the wood. I actually want it a little bit higher than that. So if I come down here, on the front face, there's this mechanism. You loosen it here. This is like a lock that you loosen. And then this raises and lowers the blade. So I'm gonna raise it up a little bit, then I'm gonna lock it in place by tightening that middle. Now it's tight and it's in place. So, got it here, got this blade guard. We're gonna use this fence as our guide. So the wood always stays up against the fence, and we're gonna be watching the fence. We're not gonna be watching the saw blade. We're gonna watch the fence and push along the fence. We're gonna be pushing it the whole way through, okay? At a certain point, we'll switch to using a different push stick once our hand gets a little close to that blade. So just to kind of show you that, what that'll look like. We'll set this correctly later and we'll turn on the saw, but we're gonna turn on the saw. We're gonna start with our hands back here. I'm up against this fence. I'm gonna push it. It's gonna be getting cut by the saw. And as my hands get close to the saw, see there's the saw blade, I'm gonna just kind of walk them back. The whole time I'm putting downward pressure and I'm pushing up against this fence. So down and to the right in this case, up against the fence. I'm gonna keep pushing, see I'm just inching my hands back. And then oftentimes we'll have like a partner on this side that will help pull through. But as I get further along, I keep one hand on it, and I grab a push stick. We have lots of different ones. I like to use this one. It's gonna go over this bottom, and that will take us the rest of the way through. Push it the whole way until we're clear of that blade. So that's the main motion we're gonna be making. Now let's set our fence. And luckily our fence has measurements on it. It's got this really great measuring tool that we can use to set the fence correctly and get the right kind of cut that we want. This measurement right here on the right side of the fence, some people get confused because there's one on the left side of the fence, but on the right side of the fence, this is the one we're gonna use. What this measures, like if I'm set to 6 right here, is the distance from the blade to this. So my resulting piece of wood will be 6 inches wide. In this case, we're gonna set it to 5 inches. So I'm gonna do just the 5 mark. And then to lock it in place, I'm just gonna gently push this handle down and it slots into place. Double check that that doesn't move. We're good to go. So, I'm gonna go ahead and lower this blade guard. Remember, it's the same action that I just showed you. I'm gonna start back here. I'm just gonna be pushing, pushing, pushing. Paying attention to this fence, I'm gonna be pushing that way and down. So up against the fence and down. I never wanna come off the fence like this, okay? And I always start away from the blade. Now to turn this thing on, there's a paddle right here. I just pull that towards me. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on. And I'm gonna start my cut. So I'm up against the fence, and I'm just walking. See how I'm moving my hands back as I get further along? Okay. I'm gonna switch to this. Hand is still on here. I never take my hand off the whole time. Pushing it on top. Push it the whole way through. I'm going to turn off, and I'm going to wait for it to stop. So I turn it off and I wait for it to stop. Then I can come grab this piece of wood. This can just get discarded. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I flipped my wood over. Now my flap side's gonna be up against the fence. And we're gonna set this to 4.5. So remember, this lifts up. I'm gonna move it to 4.5. Make sure you're on the right mark. So like that's 4. That would be 4.5. I'm gonna push down. And again, I'm cutting that other side. The reason we're doing this is because we're cleaning up our wood. So see, this side's nice and flat now. I'm gonna do the same on this side. So I'm gonna set it up here. I'm ready to go. Turn this on. I'm going to grab this. Again, I'm going to wait for it to stop. And then once it's stopped, I'm going to pull my